Has anyone lately asked you, do you want to be the executor of their estate? Well, I've been asked 3 times, and I've got to tell you that I've learned a lot. And maybe I can share a few things so that if you are ever asked to be an executor of an estate or to help with the final arrangements after someone passes, that you'll be ready to go, or at least more prepared than I was. Um, I've spent over 20 years caregiving, and I learned a hard truth. Love is not just a feeling, it's actually a file. You can love someone so much, but if you don't prepare them for what is inevitable, then they are left holding a lot of stress in trying to honor your wishes after you go. Um, because I've been the executor for 3 estates. Um, one that was really better organized, and I had a lot of notice, and then one that was just a real mess and a lot of cleanup. And the second one almost broke me, and it affected me mentally and physically in a really negative way because I so wanted to honor what they had asked me to do, and it was a mess. Um, when you're trying to honor someone's wishes and you're drowning in paperwork and you can't find the passwords, or there isn't enough clarity in the few instructions that they've given you, it is excruciating. And because I am a super uber responsible person that always wants to do the right thing, um, always wanted to, I expected so much from myself. And I felt so honored that they would ask me to help them. But I now know it's so important to prepare people much better than I was prepared. If you're going to ask someone to execute your estate after you die, you really need to give them clear instructions. If you care about them, if you love them, which I know, I mean, who wants to talk about death and who wants to be in that situation where you're having to get paperwork organized um, for your impending passing? That's not fun. But I got to tell you, for the people that you leave behind, it means so much to have clear instructions. And it doesn't take that much effort to be prepared. You know the information better than they do. You know the passwords. You know exactly what you want done with your stuff. And if you don't know what you want done with your stuff, say that. Say, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. And that would be so helpful for the person that you leave behind because it's a huge responsibility to be an executor. And you don't want them to lose sleep over handling the stuff that you've left behind. And you don't want to stress them out. If you really love them, you don't want to stress them out. If you don't love them, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That'd be weird. I mean, if you're uber rich, just pay someone to do your estate because that's a lot. I don't know. Or make it so simple that they are not ruining the day that they said yes to being your executor. I, I don't know if that makes sense. Anyhow, as you can tell, I'm not very professional with making videos, but I really want to share this message with people that are thinking about choosing someone to handle their final wishes because of my experience with it. And then, and I mean, I think it took years off my life. The one that was really messy and harder to figure out was 2 years of stress, and along with my regular job, along with my regular life. And there were days that I just wanted it over. I know, who wants to hear that? It almost makes you want to put off even getting your paperwork done, but I'm telling you, that's worse. I recently had a family member die without a will, without any paperwork, and his children are not only grieving his sudden death, but also dealing with an even bigger mess because nothing was put in writing. So I'm telling you, with all my heart, if you care about your family and your loved ones, put things in writing, get your estate organized, and everyone in your family will really appreciate it. They're already going to be handling the loss of you, and they don't also need to be handling stress on piled on top of stress, or disagreements or arguments or legal matters or property disputes or not being able to even pay for your funeral because everything's all a big mess. You don't want that, I'm telling you. So do the right thing. And I know that sounds awful too. I shouldn't be telling you what to do whatever you want to do. But I think if you care, and I do believe you care, that's why you're listening, because you don't want to um, put your family in a bad situation. Um, I'm just passionate about it now because of what I've been through. And believe me, I've gotten my paperwork in order, and I have set up who would be the people that would handle my paperwork and the final wishes. And I have um, put it in a notebook. I call it if something happens to me folder or file. And I've written up the document, the file, the way I would want it to be for me, like answering questions I would want answered and step by step, but it's not that hard. And it's something you can do a little at a time. And there are steps that are more important that you need to get done right away. And then there's some that you can continue to work on. So it's not, all I can say is the amount of relief I have from being super, getting it organized, getting it ready, because I'm getting up there in age. And the truth is, my brother died suddenly, and he's just a year or two older than me. And then I've had people in my life, that were in their 90s pass away, in their 80s pass away. But honestly, any day it could be your last. And it's just so much better for the people that you leave behind. And I know you care. I just know. So, anyhow, I'm not sharing this because I have a perfect plan. I'm just sharing my experience and then hoping that you'll maybe learn something from what I've gone through and what I do now. And maybe it'll help you get prepared. Or maybe you're a child of an aging parent and you want them to get more prepared. And if you talk about it now, it's way better because they may get really sick and not be able to talk about it. They may hopefully never happen, but if they got dementia or something like that, you would never be able to have those conversations that would really help you know exactly what their wishes are. And believe me, it was really awesome with my dad. He came to me and he asked me to help him never end up in a nursing home. And I asked him to put it in writing exactly what he wanted and allow me to be able to help him if that's what he wanted. He was asking me. And I just said, Dad, I can't help you unless it's legal and it's in writing and it's clear so I know what to do, because he has, more than just me as a kid. If you're asking me to do something, the other kids are going to wonder, why are you doing that? So, but my dad took it upon himself after we had that conversation and got all the paperwork together. And it wasn't perfect. I've learned, I don't think any paperwork is perfect, but it was so much more helpful to know that he had decided for himself exactly what he wanted done, and he had put it in writing, and I was able to follow those instructions and honor his wishes. And I'm telling you, it, it's hard enough to be an executor, but if you can keep reminding yourself you're being able to honor the person's last words, the last words they have on this earth. And remember that when you're making your paperwork, these are the last words. that you're going to have, and they're legal and they're binding, and they're hopefully you include a letter of instruction that kind of says goodbye to your loved ones, because those words mean so much, and they can either create chaos if you don't have them, or they can create a sense of calm and more harmony as you go through the process, because your loved ones will be missing you terribly and having to deal with whatever has happened. And I know I still miss my dad and my mother-in-law, who I took care of for 12 years. Um, every day I just miss them dearly, but I'm so glad that our paperwork is in order so that I could go through the grieving process as I needed to go through it and not have additional stress. So, anyhow, I don't know if I made this any better. I'm just telling you, if you don't like stress and you want to read, and you're a responsible person, and you just you want to lighten your load literally by getting your paperwork done, it is such a huge relief. And then you just let it go. You've got it done, you got your little binder done, and you just chill and go out and live the rest of your life. And you'll be a lot happier for it. I thank you for listening. I hope this helped you.